there's the carpet. Got a bare floor. A worker.
Not working.
And the ceiling. All those wires and tubes have to go. And these metal braces are gonna come off. And we'll have to saw through the top and lift this whole section out.
What? Pictures.
Yeah, we're taking it apart.
It's trying to rain out here.
Rain?
Take pictures?
Yeah. So we can document removing, hopefully unhooking the wire to the radar so we can thread it down through the mast. I don't think it floats though. Well, we got the radar off and the mast off and all the wires pulled, some pulled up and some pulled down. The radar is down, curled up, and that mess of wires goes to all the weather station gizmos, and that's the weather station. There's tools. We marked off the perimeter of the hatch, and Ray had the honor of making the first cut with Mike's cordless skill saw. We only got about a foot before it wore out both batteries, so we had to resort to more conventional power source to finish the job. And we created a lot of sawdust. With a little hammering and cutting some screws and a little prying, we loosened the hatch. So we're ready to pull out the engines. We are underway without engine power. Moving the boat around to have them hauled out. Well, this is our slowest cruise.
Amazing how much weight you can pull on the water with.
Yeah. Our emergency backup power. We're entering the home stretch now. Slowly on the way to the dock. They'll nose it in over there and then back into the lift area so they can line up the crane. They didn't need any shoving with the dinghy. Backing it into the lift, lining it up for the crane.
Be a little more fine-tuned. Oh! I thought we were syncing. Take her up. Just start lifting with the couple. Yeah, just okay.
Don't get your fingers under anything.
Do you feel like we thought? I don't think so.
Well, it's got, you gotta go outward.
Can you extend outward like a couple?
Whoa! We can come down if we need. This is filter.
This hose.
There you go. Yeah, the oil filter was caught on the floor.
We're okay. We're okay.
This is blocked here.
Are we gonna make it?
Maybe. No, stop. Is there coolant in these?
Yeah. Both of those wire hoses. Okay.
Bring it down there. Seriously.
Oh, gotcha. See if we're dragging anything?
Yeah, we couldn't get all the way over to the starter motor, so we just let it hang from the other side. Whoa!
That's slippery.
Fun. I don't know, a wet spot.
I think you stepped on the sawzall.
No, that's oil for my shoe or something.
Oh. Then you're gonna have to take a 90-degree to get through the roof.
Is he on the deck yet?
It needs, the oil pan's still an inch below.
I do have to say, you guys made this easy.
That's good.
Yeah, no, seriously.
You got that on film, so.
I see a stubby wrench.
Is that
Oh,
yours?
good. Yeah.
No, you need to go.
Keep going, booming up.
Okay, yeah. Now he's on.
That's why we're doing that, so we can recover that wrench.
It's an expensive wrench.
He's gonna make it.
see you clean.
Rich.
Yeah. Hey,
Close line.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna go out.
Which way is he swinging?
I don't know. I'm going out this door.
one down, one to go. We're taking off the raw water inlet pipe so it'll fit through the hole. Is that a good sound?
Yeah, not really. Got it? Maybe you gotta go bigger. You gotta come up before you can go out. Yeah.
And there's 4,000 pounds of iron. It's definitely floating a couple inches higher. Swinging her around for bow entry. Well, we've come in here on one engine before, but this is the first time on no engines. I'm in the engine room, sans engines. house batteries. There's the transmissions, the big wide flange. I'm not sure that's is gonna hook to the new engine or if that has to come off. We'll find out. There could be a lot of stuff down there. Smile. Well, I just yanked the old instrument cluster out. Here's what the panel looks like. And there's some wires down there that we'll have to pull down through the conduit and string some new ones. And we'll just make a new panel or a new wooden receptor for the new Cummins gauges. Yeah, this is held on with a piano hinge, so we'll just make a new piece and hook onto that. We're removing the engine wire that passes from the helm down the back of the closet into the engine room. And it's all got to come out. Cleaned up the transmissions, changed all the fluids, gave them a fresh coat of paint, so hopefully they'll last for another 40 years. This is one of the new instrument panels I got from a guy in Connecticut through Craigslist. Came complete with the wiring harnesses that plug into the panels and into the engines. And then I picked up some extra gauges for engine exhaust temperature and boost pressure. This is a mock-up of a new instrument panel with some cardboard cutouts. There's one of the new panels with an oil transmission gauge. And this is a bezel that Ray hollowed out so that I could actually put an instrument in it to add to the panel. And Ray is making a new instrument panel from this old cabinet door. Once he got it cut out, I put some number 42 Interlux brown mahogany stain on it and several coats of varnish and got it ready for installation. Here Ray is repairing the rudder angle indicator gauge and needed a new lens on the front, and he cleaned up the needle and repainted it and made a new face for it. So here's what it looks like in the completed instrument panel, and here's what it looks like at the helm. A couple months later, while browsing the second wave store, we came across a brand new rudder angle gauge and put that in the panel instead. This is a load of plywood and lumber to build crates around the engines. We've sold them to a fellow in St. Fons, France, so we're getting them ready for shipment. Our newly rebuilt engines arrived from Florida today, same day I received payment from France for the old engines. So we had some out with the old, in with the new going on today. One of the first things we did was remove one of the adapter plates from the new engines and compare it to the plate on our transmission. Visually it looked like a match. Ray confirmed that with his large calipers by measuring the new plate and the old plate and the new engine, and they all looked good. So we celebrated by going to Ivar's for lunch. We stuffed everything Perkins related, including shop manuals, wires, gauges, exhaust parts, into the box and sealed them up, and we loaded them on Mike's car trailer to take to the shipping terminal in South Seattle. When we came back, our Cummins engines had been promoted to the spot where the Perkins were. This is a high deflection drive plate, specially designed to take it easy on transmissions. And we measured and got it aligned correctly, and it's now in place. We replaced all the lines and fittings on the air compressor, added a check valve, and now it holds air for 2 or 3 weeks instead of 5 minutes. We removed one remaining old engine mount by grinding off the head of the bolt and then backing the bolt out with a pipe wrench with a 3-foot bar on it. Looks like they're going to clear the hatch.
Oh yeah.
Is it pretty well positioned, or you have to find it, or?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Alright, let me get a supervisor right here.
I'll supervise.
Just think if it was a state ferry system.
Oh man.
Get it flush?
No, it's.
Slide into the spline.
It's in there already. Now we're gonna come through. Physically or rotate? Rotate. Then wiggle it some more. Okay. That wrench up there. That's by you.
Anticipating the initial blast of smoke.
Coming right around. Well, there's quite a bit more elbow room in here now. The engines will sit on these temporary blocks for a couple weeks while the stringers adjust to their weight. This is one of the 8 new motor mounts we'll be getting. And this is a transmission bracket, an existing one that's being freed up. We heat it with a torch, then he pounds on it with a hammer until it breaks loose, and then he sandblasts the thing to clean it up and gives it a new coat of paint, and then we'll put it back on the engine on the new mount. Here Jorgen's cutting steel to fabricate new engine mounts for the front. The ones that came with the engine weren't wide enough to reach our stringers fully. This 4x8 timber will be used to fashion new support blocks for the fronts of the engines. The engines are supported by an A-frame while the mounts are being made. And once they are installed, I gave them a coat of gray paint to kind of match the rest of things. So do you measure that with like a feeler gauge or something?
Yeah. The book says it's 1/1000th for every inch of coupling diameter.
Oh, okay. So the bigger the coupling, the more slop you can have, huh?
Yeah, we try to do everything to 3/1000ths.
Yeah.
So. And we'll check it again in like 50 hours.
Oh, okay.
After you ran it.
And you check it by loosening the bolts and see if it doesn't spring out of place, or
loosen all the bolts, take them all out, and then do the same thing again.
Yeah. We're using our original transmission coolers rather than the ones that came with the engines. These are more substantial and serviceable. Ray cleaned them up and gave them a new paint job. Made a test device to pressure test them, and as you can see, it passed the test, but the tester failed. Can you see the mark?
Yeah, I think I got it.
You need a light?
It doesn't have a high and low, does it?
Pull the trigger more.
Okay. Drop the washer.
Can you see it?
Yep. There it is. There's another one down there too, but I can't see it now.
Oh. The hot water tank went back in its original position, just an inch or so ahead of the crankshaft pulley, plumbed it into the starboard engine for heat, and then we added some antifreeze to the engines. We made our own exhaust reduction elbows to reduce down to the 4.5 inches needed for the boat's exhaust pipes. So we used resin and fiberglass cloth and mixed stuff up and got them made in no order. Here's the one on the port side, and also we have one on starboard. That slope from the engine on the exhaust is way too shallow. It'll allow water to backflow, so we went to Broomfield Exhaust and borrowed some elbows and clamped together, made a prototype to see what we could do. And then we ordered some stainless steel exhaust risers with ports for the pyro gauges. Here Ray's making some high temperature gaskets from some material we got from Broomfield. And we ordered some insulating blankets from Ballard Insulation. Here you can see where the raw water circulates through the transmission cooler and then to the gear cooler or gearbox and then back to the exhaust elbow. And here's the completed port exhaust installation. Needed one new double cable clip to complete our throttle and fuel shutoff installation. And we got the fuel return lines connected and the fuel supply lines connected, and about ready for first start of the engines. Well, it'll start, yeah.
That thing tried to start.
It did?
Yeah, it binging, so I shut it off. And Laura and I looked at each other. It's not supposed to do that. So we went up and did Lauren tell you about it? Then we're going to go up to the office and ask if they had information on it. And the way we met Randy Rice up here, and he came down with us. He messed around and broke one wire loose and looked at it, put it back on, and it didn't do that.
Started right up. Woo! Wow.
Congratulations. Hey. Got oil pressure.
That's the one that's running right now. Oh, we got a leak. We got a leak. Okay.
What kind of leak? Oh.
Rev it up and you'll see come out.
Oh, I see.
Square thing in
I want to see. Turn it on, yeah.
The little valve on the intercooler is open.
Okay.
It'll just shoot coolant out.
Oh, okay.
On the top there?
Yeah.
stop leaking?
Now that did.
Good. I'm going to put your dad in there.
Forward goes forward and back goes backwards. That's good.
Okay, here we go. Here's the dash. With an arm in the middle of it. Captain, there's the new dash. The starboard lights are on. No, the port lights are on.
Port.
Sorry. I was saying everything backwards because I was standing down there.
Look at, no big smoke out the back. I better go check that out.
Open the thing and see if you can see water coming out the exhaust.
Okie doke. Yes, there's water coming out.
Okay. We're topping up the transmissions. The fluid filled the fluid cooler. So now we got to add more. Little at a time. You made it.
We had doubts.
To celebrate our successful first start, we put our Crystcraft key fobs on our keys. Now here Ray's removing the exhaust riser on the port side because we had an exhaust leak there that looked pretty significant. Turned out to be the housing of the turbocharger. So we had to take off the turbocharger and send it back to Florida, and they sent us a new one. And here's the new one. It's got a lot more metal meat on it. These are some overflow coolant reservoirs I got on eBay, and Ray made a bracket for them to mount on the front of the engine. So that's where we put them. The fuel pump on the starboard engine developed a leak, and it turned out to be a device called the fuel damper. It was squirting a little fuel out with every rotation of the pump. It's the white device right here in the middle of the picture. We got a replacement at Seattle Injector, and Seamaster Marine reimbursed us. And this is the filler neck on the port engine's expansion tank. Somebody apparently stepped on it in the last 6 months or so. We finally found a radiator shop that could repair it or weld on a new one. And so we got that done, put it back on the engine, and filled her back up with coolant. We're cleaning up a little bit for our sea trial. Look at that, forward. We're backing out. Got some extra crew helping out.
We're underway. Marco, he joined us. Mike, he's down there too. And the 2 worker bees. We're out. Hey, what's that smell? What's that smell?
Bait.
I think that's a Leonard Skinner
That's
test.
engine down.
Ah. When do we get to go faster?
Well, we gotta get out beyond the point.
How fast are we going?
7.7.
7.7? Sea trial logs. Captain, chief engineer. Boy, this feels good to be out and about. Ready to take the summer off. But we still have a hole in the roof and things to do. Oh gosh, this feels good. Don't see any smoke. I missed that sound. It sounds wonderful. I like. Our messy inside of the boat. Not as bad as it was. There's Marco.
Probably a little over 10.
We're just a little over 10 knots.
There's a lot more water out of the way.
It's looking good, honey. Going 11.6, a little bit of smoke now. The grease on the seal.
For awareness.
can see we're pleased with the results of our sea trial. This chrome siren was donated to us by Aaron's cousin Bob. It's from Federal Sign and Signal. Missing the bell, but I found some on eBay and transferred it over to the siren and polished it up so it looked pretty good. Ray made a wood mounting for it that we can put on the roof, and now we're setting it between the air horns, and eventually it's gonna look like this. We had so much fun during our first sea trial that we decided to throw in another one before getting back to work. The next order of business was to get the mast together, and so we had to snake the wires back up through for the radar, and for the weather stations we used a little wire puller, and then we bolted the mast back to its mounting, and then we had all these wires hanging from the ceiling to clean up and put away, and then reconnect the radar and bolt it back to the top, and seal up some wires to other various things in the ceiling. Here I'm sanding on the roof before we mix up some marine tex and fill in the cracks around the hatch with epoxy to hopefully seal it up. After flooding the roof with water to make sure there were no leaks in our hatch repair, I started putting the headliner back in place, using stainless steel staples this time so we wouldn't get more rust spots. Ray helped us put the trim slats back that cover the seams, using some socks on the end of 2x4s so we didn't scratch the wood. And finally we're vacuuming up and getting ready to put back the carpet. And here's the carpet with some tool bags over some little spots. Then we started bringing in furniture. And here's Ray bringing the sofa down the dock and testing it out. And we're to the point where we can put our feet up and relax.